Hello friends, welcome back. Our today's topic is steam traps. Steam traps often comes in picture when we have steam system in refinery, petrochemical and other plants. This is first part of the video on steam trap wherein we will discuss certain important terms which will come during the discussion of steam trap. Before we go in the detailed discussion of the steam trap, it is important that we understand few terms which are related to steam traps. These are like steam, saturated and superheated steam, flash steam, cold condensate and hot condensate, thermostatic element, then Bernoulli's principle, water hammer. Okay, so let us see one by one what are these, and then when we come in detailed discussion of steam traps, we'll see how these are related to the steam traps. What is steam? Steam is used as a source of energy for different application in the process plant. We have certain equipments in the plant wherein cooling or heating is the requirement of a particular fluid. So steam can be used for that purpose in that perspective. Also we have certain mechanical equipments like turbines which are run by the steam. We use steam also for the cleaning purpose. It is generated in the boiler in the steam generation unit inside the plant, and then it is distributed to different locations inside the plant where its customers are located or where it will be used. Normally it is considered as utility in the process plant. What is saturated steam? Suppose we have water at 21 degrees centigrade at atmospheric pressure. If we start heating the water, then its temperature will start increasing. At 100 degrees centigrade, it will reach the boiling point, and if we further heat the system, the water molecules which are in liquid state will get evaporated to steam. So at this temperature, from where the liquid phase is getting converted to the gaseous phase at a particular pressure is called saturation point. If we further heat the system, then the evaporation will continue, but the temperature of the steam will not rise because the heat which we are adding in the system is used for converting water molecules to the gaseous phase from the liquid phase by taking latent heat of vaporization. Once all water is consumed in the system, all water is converted from the liquid phase to the gaseous phase. Then if we further heat the system, the temperature of steam will rise. So we see that generation of steam starts at point A until point B when all water is evaporated. The steam that we get from point A to point B, we call it saturated steam because during this period both phases of water, that is liquid and gas phases, coexist. So if we summarize it, steam is said to be saturated when liquid and gaseous phases coexist at a given pressure, and the temperature at which this happens we call it saturation temperature. So at saturation temperature both liquid and gaseous phases will coexist. At this point, further addition of it to the system generates more steam by converting water to steam, but there is no increase in the temperature of the steam. So if we further heat the system as we saw in the last picture, the temperature of steam will not rise, rather it will change the remaining water to steam. At atmospheric pressure, the saturation temperature of steam is 100 degrees centigrade, but if we increase the pressure, the saturation temperature will also increase, and this is actually the case in the process plant. What is superheated steam? In previous slide we saw that generation of steam starts at point A, which is saturation temperature at atmospheric pressure. and it will continue to form until point B till all water is converted to steam. After this point P, if we keep adding the heat to the system, the temperature of steam will increase, and this steam which we get after this point, we call it superheated steam. So we can summarize that when we keep adding the heat in the steam system that has reached the saturation temperature and no liquid water is present to consume the heat for evaporation, then the temperature of steam increases. In this condition, steam is said to be superheated. What is flash steam? This is a phenomena that happens by sudden change of condensate water to steam. It is called flash steam due to its appearance because it appears suddenly. One can be confused to consider it as live steam, but it is actually condensate which are flashing to steam. Flash steam is produced when high pressure condensate is discharged to lower pressure. And please make a note that the heat content of condensate at high pressure is more than at lower pressure. Okay, this excess heat content is then used to evaporate a certain part of condensate to steam by flashing. Now to make it more clear, suppose we have a steam system which is at 10 bar gauge at its saturation temperature 184 degree centigrade, and the condensate are formed at the saturation temperature and getting discharged through the atmosphere where the pressure will be 1 bar. Now this condensate which is getting discharged to the atmosphere can exist as water only at 100 degree centigrade. So the condensate are formed at 10 bar gauge and it is getting discharged to atmosphere at 1 bar. Now we have already seen that at high pressure the heat content, the enthalpy of the condensate will be more compared to the heat content, that is enthalpy of the condensate at lower pressure. Now if we check the enthalpy of the condensate at 10 bar at its saturation temperature, it will contain 781.43 kilojoule per kg. But the same condensate when it is getting discharged to the atmosphere, it will contain 419 kilojoule per kg. So we clearly see here that there is extra heat content with the high pressure condensate. This extra heat content of the condensate will be used to convert certain part of the low pressure condensate to steam. So if we check the surplus heat here, it will be 362.73 kilojoule per kg. And the quantity of the flash steam produced can be calculated using this formula, that is excess enthalpy per kg of the condensate divided by specific enthalpy of evaporation at lower pressure, which comes as 0.16 kilogram of the flash steam per kg of the condensate. So the point is that the heat content at high pressure is more and lower pressure it is less, and the difference is used as latent heat of evaporation to convert certain part of condensate to steam which appears suddenly. What is hot and cold condensate? The situation of this hot and cold condensate appears at the startup of the steam system. At a startup, that is when steam is charged to the pipeline, the condensate are formed at saturation temperature. That is, temperature of condensate is same as saturation temperature of steam. In this condition, condensate is called hot condensate. We call it hot condensate. Due to further heat loss to the cold pipe or to the surrounding, the temperature of the condensate falls below saturation temperature. In this condition, the condensate is called cold condensate. Thermostatic element. When we will discuss about thermostatic steam trap, then this will come in picture. Thermostatic elements are mechanical elements that use the principle of thermal expansion to open or close a circuit. Basically, it can be of three types: bimetallic strip, gas or liquid filled bellows, and wax thermostat. Bimetallic thermostat. As the name suggests, it is bimetallic, that means there are two metals involved. In this figure we see that there are two metals, copper and iron, and both are having different coefficient of expansions. These two metals are not bonded to each other, so when we heat these two metal strips together to the same temperature, then we will observe that there is a change in length, that is, both the strip will be elongated. Now, due to a higher coefficient of expansion of copper, the copper strip will elongate more than the iron strip, but the shape will be linear only, straight only. Only we will observe there is change in length of the strip. But when we bond these two metal strips together, then after heating, the shape is not linear, rather it is curved, like what we see in figure 3. Now in step 4, if both the metallic strips are bonded together and fixed at one end, then after heating we will observe that the second end, which is free, is moving down. This downward movement is used to open or close a circuit, that we see in next slide. In this figure we see that the bimetallic strip is fixed at one end and it is in contact with other mechanical circuit at other end, and this is at normal temperature. After heating, the bimetallic strip has moved away from the contact point with the other mechanical circuit, and now the circuit is open. So this principle is used to open or close a circuit through bimetallic strip. Bellow thermostat. In this, a gas or liquid with low boiling point is filled inside the bellow. We see that there is a valve attached to the bellow and the valve is in closed position. Now after heating, this is at normal temperature, and after heating, the gas which is inside the bellow will expand, and if it is filled with liquid with low boiling point, then this liquid will get evaporated and it will expand inside the bellow. Due to the expansion of fluid inside, the bellow also expands and the valve which is attached to the bellow will change its position, and we see that valve is open now. So this expansion of fluid inside the bellow is used for opening or closing a valve. Wax thermostat. In this there is a capsule, a kind of mechanical enclosure which is filled with wax. This wax will get vaporized after heating. Due to this, there is expansion of the capsule, which in turn move the valve attached to it, and this way it will close or open the valve. So this is how wax thermostat works. At normal temperature, this wax will be in paste form, but after heating this will get vaporized and the vapor pressure will push the valve downside. what is Bernoulli's principle. This principle is used in thermodynamic steam traps. In a simple terms, if the velocity of a fluid increases, then simultaneously there is a drop in static pressure, provided there is no change in the potential energy of the system. So, if the fluid is flowing in a horizontal pipe, that is, there is no change in the potential energy, gravitational potential energy, in varied cross section, that is, cross section of the pipe is changing, then the speed of the fluid will increase where the area of flow is less, that is, in the constricted area the speed of the fluid will increase, and at that particular location there will be a drop in the static pressure, that is, pressure will drop at that particular location. This means fluid will exert least pressure in the constricted area. So we can say that Bernoulli's principle is basically telling us that if you increase the velocity of a fluid, then the fluid will exert least pressure in that area, that is, it will exert less pressure in that particular area. In this figure, we see that a fluid is flowing in a horizontal pipe which is having varied cross section. Cross section at point 2 is less compared to 1 and 3, and we see the relationship between pressure and velocity. So at point 2 we will observe low pressure due to high velocity of the fluid, while at point 1 and point 3 it will have low velocity and high pressure. So this explains the Bernoulli's principle that if we decrease the area at point 2 for the flow of the fluid, then its speed will increase, but at the same time it will have less pressure. Water hammer. Water hammer is a pressure surge which is observed when we have sudden change of direction of flowing fluid, or if we suddenly stop the flow of fluid. This happens due to change in momentum of the flowing fluid. In steam system, this happens due to condensate. When condensate, which is accelerated by the steam pressure, is suddenly stopped by an encounter with valve or fittings, then this surge is observed. In this figure, we see that valve is closed in the pipeline and there is no flow. Then if we slowly open the valve, the flow starts, and when we achieve the normal flow, and if we suddenly stop the valve, then we observe this pressure surge, because the fluid which was flowing with the speed is suddenly stopped, and then the change in the momentum of the fluid will exert force on the system, and then the surge will be observed. So we saw some of the important terms related to steam trap in this video. We will continue the discussion on a steam trap in second part. Thank you. If you like our video, please like, share and comment. Your like, share and comment is a motivation for us to bring a new video for you. Thank you very much.